Hi, I'm Reid, editor of the Edison Report, and we're here at the Conversation Corner at NYControlled 2025. I am joined by Nick Downham, J.R. Krauza, and Metali Ajro. Thank y'all for joining us, and the topic for this session is the fork in the road when manufacturers build in-house expertise versus when they collaborate externally. First of all, I love that title. I think it is a great title. First question, what's driving the need for deeper controls expertise with fixture companies today? Who wants to take this one?
I'll start with that one.
Okay.
So a lot of times we look at schedules, and we always look at what's available, like for dimming protocols, and we always try to go to like our go-to power supplies, and it's like, we're the experts, right? So we got the fixtures, but people want to power them, so then we got to make sure that we give them the power supplies that have this different controls. And from like 0 to 10, you got Dolly. Dolly's actually one of the most popular ones right now that we're seeing on fixture schedules. Then you got DMX, and then you try to make it compatible with the different type of fixtures we have, like tunable white, RGBW. So that's all the good stuff that we're going on right now. So
Okay, J.R.?
Randy, I think there's also a change in design in general, right? Codes have now require controls a lot more. You have a lot more designers who need to integrate those controls, and they don't necessarily know how to do it. And they're looking at the fixture manufacturers to say, okay, we want to use this control with your fixture. How do we do that? And we need to be able to answer those questions when they call. So I think that's bringing, we need to bring that expertise in-house so we can address those as they come up.
Nick?
Yeah, I agree with both of them, absolutely. It's one of the things where the market is really driving the need for that expertise. And if we're not ahead of the game, we're behind it.
Right. All right, so when does it make sense to have that knowledge in-house versus getting it externally?
For us, having it in-house means I can support the customer immediately. I'm not really worried about needing to wait on the information from a third-party source.
Right.
I'm always the one who's at the top of the game.
I think another thing that we have to look at is whenever there's a problem, the light's not working, so they call us. They're not calling the controls guy, and they don't want to hear, call the controls guy. So we have to be able to answer the problems immediately and give them the design they need.
Right.
Yeah,
it's your neck that's on the line.
Exactly, every time.
yeah, I agree with that. I answer the phone a lot when they call in on the tech line, and one of the first things they ask is, hey, it's not dimming right. So you can't say, well, let me get with another controls company.
Right.
So you really need to have an experts in-house to kind of handle that situation.
Right, here's an 800 number. Go call them. Good
Yeah,
luck.
exactly.
Right? So, no, I understand. You've got to solve that problem. Okay, JR, here's to you. Can you share the project or moment that pushed your company towards more control? So when did Coronet decide, okay, we've got to get serious about controls? Was it a moment? Was it a job?
I think I have to answer that as 9 years ago when they hired me.
Okay.
They saw the change in the controls environment. I came on board. We were doing a lot of RGBW at the time. Right. DMX was still very new to the electricians, and we've since expanded. We've added a true controls expert to the team in response to everything from PoE to DMX. These things are now very controls heavy, and it wasn't a switch that turned. It was a gradual increase of the pressure. The frog in the boiling water. Right. We had to at some point make that change, or else kind of be left behind.
Okay, Matea, answer for QTL.
Yeah, so almost the same scenario here. A lot of times we have the standard dimming from 0 to 10 and magnetic, but for us it changed when we had a lot of projects with DMX. Because that's when it started getting a little more complicated. So we needed to make sure we had that expertise in-house, because a lot of people know how to use the 0 to 10 or the MLV or the ELV, but the DMX is where it really started getting more involved. So once we started hitting those projects, we knew we needed to get some experts in-house.
Okay, so Nick, Lighting Services, Inc.
Yeah, so for Lighting Services Inc., it was when we introduced the control track line, and that was when we started to integrate real control protocols. We had DMX, 0 to 10, Dolly, all of these wired protocols. With that introduction to the product line, that's really when we had to push our expertise to the top.
Okay. Matea, here's to you. What challenges come with owning more of the control side?
Could you repeat the question? Because I can barely hear you.
Okay, I'm sorry. What challenges come with owning more of the control side?
So if you start owning more of the control side, now more responsibility is going to rely on the manufacturer of the fixture, right? So sometimes that's a negative, right? Because you don't want to because you don't know what controls could be done on a job site. So it's a little bit different there.
Okay, JR?
I think it's about understanding the control narrative from the designers. We used to not care so much about the control narrative. 0 to 10 doesn't really matter.
Yeah.
Suddenly when you're doing dolly, DMX, PoE, sensors, daylight, you have to understand the design intent of the designer. So you have to have conversations with more of your designers and say, what are you envisioning here? And help them deliver that to the job site.
Okay, Nick?
Yeah, so I mean, some of the risk that comes with owning it is, like we said before, people start to call us now. We're the ones that are getting the phone calls. What's going on? Why doesn't this work? And for my company, we don't necessarily own the front end of the system, right? I'm totally controls agnostic. So I'm interfacing with somebody else's product and figuring out where do we sit in that part of the system is not difficult, but I want to make sure that it's my product working, is your product working, and that at the end of the day, it's the customer that I need to satisfy and make sure that they're happy. So
But I want to ask a little bit deeper. You say you are totally agnostic. Are you really? Or does your team have a certain system that they prefer?
no, absolutely not. I will use anybody's DMX control system, anybody's 0 to 10 system, as long as it's sync dimming, right? That's the big thing for us. If you're actually meeting the standard for the specification of that protocol, our fixture will work with it.
Mateo, do you agree with that? Totally agnostic at your company?
Yeah, I agree. Totally agree with that. I think that's a good statement you made. So it's every company's different, every manufacturer a little bit different, but I totally agree with what he was saying.
And I think this is, we're like you guys, we're independent, so we're totally agnostic as well. It should be the designer's choice on what their system is.
Absolutely.
That's the manufacturer, that's not our job. So they specify what they need to make their job a success. It's our job to deliver that to them.
That's
Okay.
absolutely right.
So let's talk about the overall health of the controls environment, because this is the third year for this show, and each year it just gets better and better. Controls are finally picking up, right? It took a long time to get here. We're still not where we need to be, but we're much better. Agreed?
Yeah, I agree,
yeah.
definitely. Yeah, I mean, we're seeing more and more different types of controls. Wi-Fi, Bluetooth, and all that stuff. And trying to integrate that with our power supplies has been a challenge sometimes. But we're definitely seeing a lot more.
I think the biggest difference in why we're seeing it is controls used to be, back when I was a designer, controls were about delivering an environment, right? And delivering a project. Now it's code driven, right? So people who never needed to know about controls, engineers, architects, beyond the lighting consultants, need to actually understand what they're doing to be able to deliver a code compliant design. So a lot of it, I think, is being driven by ASHRAE 90.1 and things like that.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, I think too, though, that sometimes that is where we are a little bit behind in the industry. Is we really need to push those folks that are just looking at the control side from code compliance to, the designers and their intent. Are those two mixing? Are they intermingling correctly? Are we, do I have the emergency system in line with my day-to-day fixtures? Those are the kind of things and the challenges that I think we need to address as a controls industry to really make sure that everybody's at the forefront and really everybody understands from the ground up what it is that the designer is trying to achieve.
Okay. Mateo, closing comment.
As a manufacturer, we always try to stray people where we think they should go for controls, but at the end of the day, like he was saying, it's more the lighting designers, the specifiers, so we got to kind of follow what they're going. So we're always trying to get ahead of the curve and trying to bring specifiers and lighting designers in so we could kind of talk to them to see what kind of controls they always need. So,
And are you finding the lighting designers receptive to learning about controls?
yeah, correct, yeah.
Okay, JR?
I would just stress to all the designers, architects, that whole design community, it's important to figure out what you want the space to look like and what you want your narrative to be, and then rely on the experts to help you deliver that. I mean, it would be impossible to learn, there's enough on designers' plates, they can't learn everything about controls, and that's why they have us and our experts, is to help them deliver that design to their project.
Okay. Closing comments, Nick?
Yeah, absolutely. Reach out to the manufacturers. Talk to us about what you're trying to achieve. Make sure that we are all on the same page. We're here to help, really. It's what we want. We want beautiful buildings. We want beautiful designs.
Right. All right, gentlemen, thank you.
Thanks, Randy.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, thank you.